But yeah, usually I just go live Monday to Friday for about, up to an hour, hopefully, but hopefully a lot shorter than that. Kind of just trying to support the MarmaJ Foundation. Generally trying to do some research or dig into, ways in which to leverage Web3 tech for social good. Generally on the NEAR blockchain. Sometimes we dig into Aurora or Ethereum or, other chains and different cryptographic things to touch and play with. But with NEARCON coming up, a little bit. So from September 11th to 14th in Portugal, in Lisbon, NEARCON's happening, as we saw. Boom, boom. Lots of crazy things going on. Parties and, devs, entrepreneurs, creators, regulators. Lots of kind of fun stuff going on with lots of different people, lots of speakers. We know lots of these cool people, which is great. A lot of these people we haven't met in person, so excited to kind of meet some of them. Like Maria, excited to see you. Excited to maybe the baby will kick a little bit. Super excited to see you. Anyways, lots of cool people will be there. Actually, the speaker list is filled out a lot. Nice. So we're excited for NEARCON, but even more excited for the MarmaJ Hacker House. And so this is kind of where we're trying to mainly support, build on Mintbase specifically for our main hack, but we're trying to really figure out a few things. So we're working at how to define, what social good means at a high level, yes, but for the MarmaJ Foundation. Like, what should the MarmaJ Foundation be focused on? I have my personal ideas, but I think that as a Web3 based organization and as a organization that's run by a DAO and trying to decentralize its decision making, we also need to decentralize our definition and kind of, have a concrete definition that we organize around, but it should, be derived from as many sources as possible, as long as those sources are, close to our community. So, key community members. So that's what the Hacker House is trying to do, gather these key community members. So, what kind of projects need attention, what kind of support, how do we track all this stuff? So also, analytics and data tracking and measurements and how often we should be tracking these measurements and all that good stuff. So the MarmaJ and NEAR communities are going to work at practical solutions. So not just what social good means, but how do we actually enact this social good in a meaningful way through something like NFTs. I think NFTs have a lot of use case. And the main use case is just because of the standard. You can do whatever you want with something because it's a standard. It's kind of like, it's some silly ones, So the fact that money comes in paper rectangles is a standard. And you can do many things with JChan NFT. Satori is broken. And so now you cannot create a wallet anymore. You can only connect a wallet. So not sure how useful this is for onboarding newcomers to Web3 anymore. But you can still get an NFT. So there's that. I'm going to go back to this page. So the idea is that we were going to have, they already exist, actually. So this page can actually be updated quite a bit, but the idea is we have the MarmaJ Mintbase store, right? Oh, sorry, it's the wrong store here. MarmaJ Chan. So we have the MarmaJ Chan Mintbase store, and the idea is anyone who owns an NFT from the MarmaJ Chan Mintbase store, like a can of beer, for example. You buy a MarmaJ beer, that is so cool. I think we're in the MarmaJ DAO, might have to buy that one next time. So anyone who buys an NFT from the MarmaJ Chan Mintbase store will be considered a MarmaJ Foundation member. High level. That's kind of high level. Eventually we'll have the charter and everything else written out. And sorry, I don't want to say anyone who buys, right? Because the idea is anyone who owns or collects. These could be distributed for free at events, for example, in-person events, or at the Hacker House. For example, the MarmaJ DAO will collect these NFTs and distribute them to people that come to events and stuff like that. So it's not all about purchasing them and whatever, but if they are purchased, funding does go to the DAO and does go to the artist and yada, yada, yada. Like if you look at this beer, for example, there is like split royalties to different people. I think there's supposed to be one extra person. Oh no, on a split sale. Split revenue is supposed to be, yeah, there you go, 3 accounts. Perfect. It's pretty cool how you can kind of see like the royalties and the revenue and all, how it's split and everything like that. But anyways, the idea is there's a MarmaJ cards onboarding flow. The idea was supposed to be there's a MarmaJ cards onboarding flow. The idea was supposed to be you give someone a packet of cards, like a Pokemon packet of cards. They opened it up and they got a few cards of different MarmaJ chans, different and so you can see different MarmaJ chan ideas here, right? There's some different models and styles and poses, so you can see how there could be different MarmaJ chan NFTs like this in the physical pack of cards, right? There's also a link drop in there. So yes, of course, we can still put a link drop in the cards pack, which would give them the wallet, which would be the step 1, right? To get the 8.1 near, and then you'd be able to claim the NFTs. So this still works. From there, they'd be able to go to Mintbase, which again, will now take you to the MarmaJ store, which that I guess is not the case. So we will be hacking here. Okay. And the idea is that we want this MarmaJCON event yearly to be, the largest event in Antigua, where we just bring people together to hack at the same kind of topics that we had here at the hackathon. Right? Let's close some of these extra pages. Right? So, what is social good? Like what kind of projects need our attention? But not just for ourselves, but for the entire island of Antigua. Right? So it's less again than about just my, instead of going just from myself and then as co-founders, myself and Bianca, and then moving into the entire MarmaJ community and how do we support NEAR, into how do we support the country and the community of Antigua and Barbuda more efficiently. So there's a lot of amazing organizations already doing amazing work in Antigua. So how do we support? So this is the Hacker House. And then expanding upon the Hacker House now is actually hosting the hackathon, right? Having our own challenges, having our own questions that we pose to the community. And we've done this in the past, and I've kind of talked about how, multi-call, came from one of our previous open challenges that we had in the MarmaJ community. And it saved my old thing. This is wild. This is just like random stuff, and it just saved it in my browser. Anyways, this team's doing an amazing job for expanding constantly. And we want to see how can we continue to support teams to build useful products in the NEAR ecosystem. Again, leverage NEAR technology for social good, building out a useful tech for people to use and build upon. But all, that's kind of the goal. And so we're doing it in Antigua. We're, Canada Place. So if you want to kind of, let's get out of here and let's. The idea is we have the MarmaJ DAO, and all of these things we do should hopefully come back to support the MarmaJ DAO. So whether it's, crypto heroes and GameFi, whether it's like the research DAO and kind of experimenting in the tech and nodes and all of that stuff, whether it's a conference that we have once a year where we educate ourselves, educate each other, and hack at solving challenges to, support or to leverage Web3 for social good in Antigua. And then obviously the idea is, how does that support? we're not just looking at how do we create stuff like this, like multi-call that supports the entire NEAR ecosystem, but also how do we support the island specifically. So how do we potentially look at saving the mangroves? How do we potentially look at, looking at the McKinnon's Pond and keeping that healthy? How do we look at like the fisheries or the dredging in Barbuda, which is up there, by the way, a little farther. So, lots of different things, or lots of, the stray dog population, the cleaning up the beaches, like all these different various things we want to kind of try and support. But how do we use Web3 to support that? And so from my standpoint, having things built on a public blockchain, if it's cheap enough, allows for efficient research to be done because you have public data sets. And that to me is the biggest benefit. Other people will have other benefits, and hopefully we'll keep figuring this out and refining it over the time period. So yeah, I mean, that's about as much as we have so far, and like the reasoning behind it, like why are we building in Antigua? I'm also a citizen of Antigua, whatever. Also a citizen.